Hey guys, welcome to the season finale of this season's A3U review.
That's right. I know last time we said we'd have something special to show you for Christmas, and we kind of do. Just in time for Christmas, we actually got the UW-04 Unite Warriors Devastator. And I know how much you guys wanted us to compare all three versions, the SDCC, Hasbro, and Takara versions. So as our Christmas gift to you, we're actually going to do that before we take a break for our season.
That's right. So without further ado, let's start off. And my name's Alex.
I'm Boris.
And you're watching
the A3U Review.
Here are the boxes for Devastator, and this is of course the Hasbro version, which is Combiner Wars, and the Takara version is the Unite Warriors.
Yeah, before I kind of unbox them, I just wanted to show off the boxes. A lot of people, of course, are wondering, will it have the same window boxing? And unfortunately, you're not even going to get a window box with this one. I was expecting it, but it's actually the same exact box and inner box as the Hasbro version. The artwork is actually a little bit different on this though. It's a little bit cleaner, as you can see.
Yeah.
But also the artwork itself, it shows the Devastator with the darker face. We're gonna definitely take it out of the box and take a look at Combine Mode first.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So we have right in front of us 3 Devastators. Now you might be familiar with 2 of them because we have compared this one, the Hasbro Combiner Wars, with the SDCC version. Now we have the Takara version, the Unite Warriors Devastator, and I think that this will make the comparison complete.
So a lot of people have been, of course, anticipating the arrival of the new Takara Devastator, the Unite Warriors Devastator, and there's been a lot of talk about how different it's going to be. It definitely has a lot of differences, so I'd like to go top to bottom and review those differences, but it actually had some shockingly missing details that we thought that would be in it as well, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So right off the bat, Alex, I mean, the head sculpts.
Yes, the head sculpt are all 3 of them quite different. Well, he's got the silver and the black hair, something that I thought was very, very different from these 2 versions. And not only that, well, this one was you got the eyes, this one you got the visor. Well, this has a combination of both.
That's right. The Takara one does have the gimmick of the actual visor coming off and as well as being put back on, depending on how you like it. So you kind of get the best of both worlds with this head sculpt. And with the darker bottom scheme, I mean, it actually looks black at face value, but if you look really closely, it's more like a gunmetal.
Yeah.
Like a
really, really dark gray.
Dark gunmetal gray.
Yeah.
But it's actually really defined when it's a little bit darker like that, and it looks really great for the contrast. And I love the visor gimmick because sometimes I do like the whole no visor look, and I also like the visor look.
Yeah.
So this definitely appeals to me in terms of value. Now let's move on to the right limb here. We're looking at the treads.
Yes.
The treads are kind of where I've focused a little bit more on.
Yeah.
All of them have slightly different scheme. The Takara one likes to stick with the purple middle as kind of a balanced scheme, whereas Hasbro has kind of left it very different. One's completely green, one's completely purple, but the SDCC one actually has the most contrast, having the black in the middle and then having the different tread colors on the outside.
I like the fact that these 2 decided to have a bit of symmetry, right? All black or all purple.
I do like the contrast with the black treads. The black in the middle of the treads. Only because the black, for some reason, has a higher end feel. That's just me. Another thing, too, if we're going from top to bottom, I just wanted to mention, it's hard to see from the top here, but there's like a few grills here that are painted silver. Whereas both these versions have missed that opportunity. So you don't get that. As well as if I can flip up the hook just a little bit. You notice Takara does the 2-tone hook. It has a little bit of the metallic purple and then the actual hook itself is silver, whereas both the Hasbro and SDCC version are completely 100% silver.
Yeah. Now let's look at the arms.
Yeah,
the arms are something that stand out because they decided to go with the SDCC design, which is black and silver with a silver strip. Hasbro didn't go with that, and it made it kind of plain.
Yeah, and it does not have as high end of a feel when you don't have those little details and contrast. Takara takes it a little bit step further and gives you the proper purple hands.
The purple hand, yep.
Whereas both Hasbro and SDCC Hasbro versions have given you the black. And now moving down a little bit more to the hip, you notice that I just flipped up one of the flaps. There's a minor difference on the back end here. You never really see it anyways, but I thought I'd mention it. That Takara has the classic purple thighs, whereas the SDCC and the Hasbro version sports the silver, which doesn't look bad, and honestly, it's not really shown. The flap itself for the Takara version has the nice purple in there, where the SDCC and Hasbro versions have left it black as well in the middle for this little grate here.
Moving further down, the wheels of the Takara version have silver. What was great about the San Diego Comic-Con version was that it added more detail to the rims by making silver rims, right? Takara decided to do that to step up their game because, well, Hasbro, they just kind of left it black. And that just leaves out a really, really important detail, in my opinion. I really like it when they paint their wheels silver. It just really adds that extra bit of, like, premium touch to it.
Moving down a little bit more, you'll notice just a few little touches that Takara has that are different. Instead of the silver siding for the vehicle, it has the purple. And also, you know, having said that, if you take a look at somewhere where Takara feels like it actually missed a couple of opportunities, the ladder here stayed kind of the same color as the Hasbro version.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas the SDCC, if you look out here, Alex, remember the nice silver
touches
touches that we liked?
Little silver highlights here and there.
Yeah, that was interesting. I felt like, why would they have skimped on that?
I know.
It really felt like they were gonna keep some of that scheme in here because those ladders look great, and it's such a nitpicky thing, but it really looks really nice when it's actually painted in there, right?
Yeah.
Alex? It actually really helps. But I mean, overall, I mean, if we turn it over to the side, Takara does seem like they filled in some other blanks where you were talking about, Alex.
Yeah.
The silver in
yes,
the front, right?
Something that I really liked about the Takara version was that they added the silver at the front of Mixmaster. These other guys don't have it. The two Hasbro versions do not have that at all. Feels very plain. I just felt that when you look at it, something's missing. Well, Takara filled in that gap and they added the silver. So it's funny that they decided to have no silver in certain areas, but they added silver in other areas. The two Hasbro versions have the Decepticon logo on the top of the where the driver's side is, but on the Takara version they decided to put it on the actual shovel itself, and I thought that was a nice touch. I like it like that. I like it over there, so that worked for me. This was interesting. I thought the place where you put the cement, yeah, each one of them is a different color. You got chrome here, and over here it is green, as you can see on the outside, and over there is purple. So that's something that each version has its own individualism.
It almost feels like SDCC filled in actually a lot more smaller details.
Yeah.
Even with the little black here.
Yeah.
And the little stripe stickers.
Yeah.
It almost feels like I want to kit bash elements of some of these.
Let's take a look at each individual robot mode, and perhaps we can compare the differences between them.
Yeah, because there's going to be a big difference with the bot modes. Let's do that right now.
So here we have all the Constructicons transformed into their individual robot modes. We got Takara, Unite Warriors, we then have Hasbro Combiner Wars, and now San Diego Comic-Con.
So let's just look at the robot modes. One thing to note right away is that the Takara versions have all of the black small guns for each and every single bot. You're not going to see them with the Hasbro versions here, with the SDCC or the regular.
All right, so let's just start off with long haul. So here is long haul. Once again, the 3 versions are here: Takara, Hasbro, SDCC.
And right off the bat, I mean, if you take a look at it, you'll obviously see that there's just some contrast differences. I mean, you got the long haul with the black forearms.
Yeah.
Both the Hasbro versions have the purple forearms.
Yeah.
SDCC has like that extra little detailing, like we talked about again.
Yeah.
Right? Like the little bit of silver.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, they all look fairly similar. It almost feels like he's missing some stuff.
Yeah. They took something
in the
out.
general groin area.
Yeah.
Here. It's actually painted here on the individual bots for SDCC and the regular Hasbro version.
Yeah, I gotta say that the Takara one does look a little bit more plain, but I also noticed the arms are different physically.
Yeah, so the nice thing though about the Takara ones is they introduced a little bit more articulation.
Yeah.
So it has a hinge joint here, kind of.
Yeah.
And you know, the regular hinge joint that is already on the Hasbro version that, you know, makes the forearm go outwards.
Yeah.
So that offers a good kind of range if you're posing it for any kind of shooting shot where he doesn't have to look like his arms are straight out.
Because these guys, they have to fully extend.
That's it. That's all you got. So that retool right there is a big difference.
Huge difference
between the Takara version. And he's not the only one. As we go through these, you're going to see that that's one of the biggest things about the new Takara Unite Warriors version is the little bit more articulation in each of the individual bots. Like that. But otherwise, I mean, it's fairly the same.
They're
like
pretty much the same.
Yeah, and I think in terms of details, probably the SDCC one wins out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's long haul. Let's move on to the next one. So next we have Scrapper. Same kind of thing. I feel like the SDCC adds a little bit more paint detail, but it also kind of has all the chroming going on.
Yeah.
Versus the Takara seems to have dulled down some of the excess paint apps.
Yeah.
You don't have, for example, the extra red.
On the chest.
Also, like if you're looking at the actual head sculpts, it's got the darker gunmetal.
Just like in Devastator's face.
Yeah, that's right. So those are kind of the bigger differences. Otherwise, it's fairly similar with the silver and then there's even some gold metallic. But again, you have the articulation once again in the arms. So you can actually bend the arms. Whereas these guys don't have much option. They have to put it straight out like that. Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, let's take a look at Hook, I think, is next.
So here's Hook, and
Hook,
quite different actually. All 3 of them.
Yeah, in paint apps it's quite different, and this is the one bot where the articulation is the same as well.
Yeah, it doesn't
because it already bends.
Yeah, that's right. They all have that extra forearm articulation.
But the actual paint apps are quite different. I'm having a tough time. I mean, I automatically write off the chrome. Yeah. But the actual paint apps on this is pretty nice.
Very nice. Like the silver highlights in the front. I mean, they decided to go with all black here. Now here, Takara decided to do purple. So there is less detail, but I do like the silver legs. That's a nice touch on the lower leg area.
Yeah, and they even varied this part here.
Yeah.
Whereas this is all straight red.
I'll be completely honest. I like the chest hair, love the hips here, but I love the legs. You know what? As a matter of fact, I like this design with the silver and red too. So
there's a bit of contrast.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is a tough one.
This is definitely one of the bots in the line where it's very different on each application. So you know, again, maybe it requires some kit bashing again. Yep. Get the best one.
Yep. All right.
Let's take a look at the next one.
Here is Mixmaster.
Mixmaster!
And the differences are in the upper body, the torso.
Yeah, once again. So on this one, it was nice to see Takara bring in the little bits of blue.
Yeah.
Of course, again, you got the chrome, which really like bling bling.
Yeah.
Obvious difference.
Yeah.
And then little details again here and there where, again, it feels like Takara missed a little bit of that detailing.
Yeah, because Hasbro got the gold over in the hips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. But you know, overall, not a lot of missing details on Mixmaster, honestly. But one thing they did do is extra articulation once again.
Yep.
So you notice these guys do bend at the arms.
Yep.
But this one has an extra swivel.
Yeah.
Where the tire is.
Yeah.
That gives it just a slight bit more articulation. You notice that, Alex?
Mm-hmm.
This little flap that kind of moves around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in like a whole extra joint.
Yeah, exactly. Where the tire is, where both these versions do not have it in the Hasbro universe. They've went above and beyond to retool the actual molds a little bit for the Takara versions.
Yeah.
That's why you're paying a little bit more. I mean, these are extra tools, so you know they do cost a little bit more on the whole grand scheme of things. But
right.
I mean, otherwise, looking good.
It does look good.
Yeah, let's move on.
So now we're gonna take a look at Scavenger, and the main difference is kind of like the previous one, and that is it's all in the chest. But this time it's a little bit more minute. It's not that big of a difference.
Yeah, again, it's like little details that aren't in the Takara versions are in the Hasbro, like the gold.
Yeah.
On the abs there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the SDCC one has even more again.
Yeah.
And then the weapon, of course, I think I've showed this before. It's got the nice red detailing inside, which the regular Hasbro doesn't. And then on this figure, just like Hook, the articulation doesn't change. They already bend at the forearms.
Yep.
So they stay that way. So not much different about this figure. So we should just probably move on.
Here is Bone Crusher, and
last but not least,
looking at the chest, you can see that these two, the two Hasbro ones, is very, very similar. In fact, I think they're identical, They decided to go with a more green approach for the Takara. And not just in the chest, but the arms. Check out the arms. So very, very green. Here, you got the silver. And now here, for the SDCC, the most detail. Silver, black, red, and green on the side.
Yeah, the paint again it's like the SDCC version really tried to step it up when it came to the paint application.
Yeah, you're gonna have to say that the SDCC wins for the Bone Crusher.
Yeah, it's quite nice. I do kind of like the simplicity of all the grain, but
Yeah.
they definitely didn't take the time to apply much
Yeah.
more detail to the Bone Crusher in the Takara version. Articulation, once again, on these ones are the same as well. They have the ball joint and it already kind of bends at the elbows, so no difference there.
Yeah.
Nothing different in the other parts of the tooling either. So yeah, there you have it. Let's have some final thoughts about everything that we've seen here today.
The Takara one does have its moments. I find that, well, for SDCC, it's definitely, you either like chrome or you don't, but it's still got a lot of great detail on it. The Hasbro ones, they also do have some great parts. So what this comes down to really is kit bashing. Take some parts from each one and then you have a great looking Devastator of your choice.
Yeah, for
Your own
those of
creation.
for those of you who can't afford to buy all three, which, you know, like me, I can't even afford to buy all three. If I had to give a definitive approach, I personally looked at it in combined mode mostly because that's how I'm going to display him. I'm not really going to display the individual bot modes. To be really honest, the individual bot modes, I can kind of pass them by.
I agree.
They're not great anyways. There's a lot of issues in terms of proportions.
Especially
all
the
that.
long haul.
Yeah, there's a lot of proportion issues. And in bot mode is where, you know, actually Hasbro did shine a little bit because it does still have some of that detail that Takara might have missed and whatnot. But overall, if we were to look at it in combined mode, it feels like the Takara version is the best balanced. It's got elements of the SDCC version, though not as detailed in its paint apps. It also stays true to the purple rather than going all super chrome. So it dumbs it down a bit without being too bland like the Hasbro regular version in combined mode. So if you're going for the combined look, I really do think Takara wins out. Now, having said that too, something that doesn't show up in camera that you and I actually noticed
Yeah.
while we're going through each individual bot mode, it was easier to see when it was actually the individual bot modes for some reason. And I think it's because you got to see different angles and different lighting on different angles of the individual bots. But the Takara version, the green, is actually, I don't know what it is, but there's this slight more green quality to it. It's almost as if the Hasbro versions have a more yellowy tinge to it.
Yeah.
And if you really look closely, you could tell that when you put them side by side, even though it doesn't show up on camera very well, that Takara green is actually different
Yeah.
than the Hasbro green.
Yes.
Slightly less yellow. And if you put them together, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Look at it from different angles, look at the lighting on it, and you'll notice that, hey, what's going on? Where's that like pure green from the Takara version? It's not evident in the Hasbro. It actually washes it out with a little bit of this yellow kind of overtone. So that's something unfortunately you can't see on camera, but I wanted to just alert you guys of. I actually like that it's more green.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like it more green because that's the way it should be. It's Devastator, right?
Yeah.
Something that is more towards yellow, it just feels like, well, if you have the choice, which would you like, right? Obviously the one that is more true to the original color.
Yeah, so all in all, like I said, you want to display it in combined mode, Takara might be the most balanced version if you can only afford one.
Yeah.
But hey, if you can afford two of them or even all three, maybe kit bashing might be a great way to go.
Have some fun with it. You know, take this guy and then use him as, you know, the arm, and then take the other guy from Takara and use it as a leg, and then just mix and match, and then you'll have, you know, a version of you know, Devastator that's going to be unique to yourself, right?
Yeah.
So
I would even recommend, if you could, get a really cheap version of the regular one on sale, and get the SDCC version. You could probably make quite a good kit bash with that. Only thing you'd be missing, of course, that I think Takara did very well, is that head, the visor gimmick, where you could actually show the visor and without the visor.
Yeah.
That, unfortunately, you will not get without getting the Takara version. That is probably why I recommend, if you only got the money for one, Takara is probably the way to go. A lot more articulation too in the individual bots.
absolutely agree.
So there you have it. A huge in-depth comparison of all three Devastators.
Yep, thank you for your time. And that's our final episode for this season. We hope you enjoyed it.
And while we're gorging ourselves for Christmas and drinking ourselves silly for January, we actually won't be back until 2016, so we'll see you then. But if you do miss us, please leave us comments. Let us know how you feel about this episode or any other episodes, especially about which Devastator you would like.
For sure. And also, while we are having a good time in the busy holiday season, I think this is a great opportunity for you guys to catch up on some of our older episodes. After all, we are in season, well, going into season 7, we've done a lot of episodes. So check out the rest of our channel. Maybe you missed an episode or two, and show us some support. Anyways, that's all we have to say for this season. So we'd like to wish you guys a happy holidays, and we'll see you in 2016.
Happy holidays.
See you.